Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. After losing Ridge to Brooke, does Taylor pretend to have broken heart syndrome in order to get him back? According to previews on The Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor Hayes ultimately succeeded in regaining Ridge Forrester. But only after two particular circumstances. The first was the supposed treachery of Brooke Logan. The brunette's broken heart syndrome was the other. It's probably the reason Ridge, despite his intense affections for Brooke, is so reluctant to get back together. Let's review the possible plot of this narrative now. Broken heart syndrome. Let's start with Taylor's return to Los Angeles. Taylor was informed that heart failure was killing her. But in reality, it was a disorder known as broken heart syndrome. Taylor recovered after receiving some medical and psychological care. It was claimed that the disease was caused by Taylor's years of repressing her wounded heart. Imagine Ridge going on a guilt trip. Naturally, Ridge held himself responsible for Taylor's symptoms. He wanted to do everything in his power to make his ex-wife better as a result. The betrayal of Brooke Logan. Then there was the supposed betrayal by Brooke. Brooke did want to help Ridge regain control of the business and do the right thing. But Brooke didn't know how accepting the position would help her achieve that. Brooke believed she could simply persuade Hope Logan, Annika Noel, and Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor, to act morally. At any rate, Ridge felt that Brooke's acceptance of the position at Forrester Creations was a betrayal. The dreams of Taylor Hayes come true. According to previews on The Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor has always desired to be with Ridge again. Although Taylor still has Ridge at the moment, she is aware that Brooke is still a major problem. Although Taylor and Ridge are close, Taylor is also cautious. At the fashion presentation, Taylor was aware of Ridge's admiration for Brooke in that bridal gown. Therefore, even when Taylor's fantasies are coming true, she secretly knows that Ridge may return to Brooke at any moment. Ridge appears to be genuinely conflicted based on recent episodes. It's obvious that Ridge loves Taylor and doesn't want to harm her. However, Ridge's attraction to Brooke and his affections for her are indisputable. Knowing that Taylor could die from broken heart syndrome if Ridge ditches her again must be extremely difficult for him. Falsifying a relapse in medicine. Although Taylor adores Ridge, she also wants him to be separate from Brooke. What occurs if Ridge's feelings for Brooke become irresistible? Taylor was displaying toughness, but it was killing her on the inside. Additionally, in a moment of desperation, Taylor can act as though her broken heart syndrome has resurfaced. Could Taylor lure Ridge back because of that guilt? Would her mother's deceit be acceptable to Steffi Forrester Finnegan? This was messed up by the writers with Taylor and Brooke. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, many fans appear to concur that Taylor Hayes and Brooke Logan are a poor choice for the show's writers. This was messed up by the writers with Taylor and Brooke. This is due to the fact that in 2022, the two women made the decision to temporarily become friends after realizing that Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., wasn't worth pursuing. However, when Brooke and Taylor both determined that Ridge was their true love, that plot point abruptly ended for whatever reason. Or, at the very least, they believe he is worth their continuous argument. Is he, though? On social media, B&B fans undoubtedly had a lot to say about this plotline. Some people have gone so far as to say, "I will always be angry that this story was dropped. Why would they make fun of us in that way?" The Taylor/Brooke plotline might have been fantastic. I would also like to second Miss Krista. She was the greatest Taylor, in my opinion. She is an incredibly gifted actress. Are Taylor and Brooke ever going to be friends again? I was all for Brooke and Taylor being a thing, remarked another B&B admirer. Ridge, I'm sick of them arguing over vanilla ice cream. I suppose asking the authors to deviate from the tried and true formula that they consistently employ is too much to handle. But to be fair, Krista had that impact on the entire cast, and I remember how people were shipping Taylor with almost everyone back then, was another comment that was made. Anyway, this was such a lost chance. And the Bold community could have been very supportive of it because many people, including myself, supported Brayler. It is unclear at this point if Taylor and Brooke will ever genuinely become friends again. Keep an eye out. Taylor and Brooke continue their argument. Thursday, May 22, 2025, spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate a change from one feud over a guy to another. Ridge in the center. Their moms are eager to take center stage now that Hope Logan and Steffi Forrester Finnegan are embracing and deciding to be best friends, demonstrating that they are incapable of learning anything from their children. However, the BFF relationship between Brooke Logan and Taylor Hayes, played by Rebecca Budig, didn't work out 2 years ago. On Thursday, Brooke and Taylor will resume their spat over Ridge Forrester. It would seem that Taylor would understand that life is far too short for this folly, as Steffi and Hope have, given that Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, is dying, but these two grandmothers are obviously as immature as ever. Read this, spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope and Carter get back together, but his terrible Daphne secret could end it all. With all the other ramifications from Carter Walton and Hope's coup settled, Brooke believes it will only be a matter of time until Ridge returns to her. The last piece of the puzzle that would put Brooke's life back together would be Ridge dumping Taylor for Brooke. Katie butts in. Katie Logan has no intention of allowing her sister's romantic life to continue. Katie needs something to do because she doesn't currently have a romantic life of her own. This time, she tries to find Ridge because she meddled in Hope's romantic life 2 weeks ago. Ridge hears all the benefits of going back to Brooke from Katie while Brooke and Taylor are battling over him. He had already heard this a few weeks prior, during the fashion show, when John McCook's character Eric Forrester reprimanded him for sticking with Taylor. Ridge argues that he is committed to something and will follow through on it. Would Taylor even want a man whose heart is obviously not in it if she heard him say things like that? Ridge needs to decide quickly because he could face competition for both women's affections at any moment. Ridge and Brooke could reunite with Katie Logan's advice. According to teasers for Bold and Beautiful, Ridge Forrester and Brooke may never be the same after Katie Logan gives him some wise counsel. Will the famous couple be reunited at last thanks to Katie's matchmaking? Riding together forever could be possible with Katie Logan's game-changing advice. Longtime admirers believed that the iconic bridge love story was completely finished, but Katie Logan's sisterly wisdom changed everything. In what can only be called one of the most intense episodes we've seen in months, Katie Logan gave Ridge Forrester advice on May 22, 2025, that might drastically alter the course of his love destiny. As someone who has followed this legendary super couple for decades, I can assure you that my heart was pounding the whole time. Everything changes after Katie's heart-to-heart. You could sense the tension in the air as soon as Katie dragged Ridge away. She didn't mince words, telling him to embrace his destiny and follow his heart. You all know what that means in soap opera lingo, don't you? In essence, Katie was telling Ridge that Brooke Logan is his true love, what we have all been yelling at our TVs for months. What strengthens the impact of this advice? Ridge and Katie's own complex past. Do you recall their engagement? She is more familiar with him than most people are, and when someone with that level of wisdom advises you to follow your heart, you don't just disregard it. The dilemma of Ridge's obligation versus true love. Things start to get very interesting at this point. My sources, believe me, they're trustworthy, tell me that Ridge's present attachment to Taylor Hayes is based more on duty than desire. Because of her health issue and because he doesn't want to let Steffi and Thomas down, the man has been living with her. But is that really sufficient to establish a long-term partnership? The timing couldn't be more ideal for Katie. After all the drama surrounding Brooke's involvement in that corporate takeover issue, Ridge has already begun to doubt his decisions. He has been struggling with confusion and guilt, and now Katie, who truly cares about both him and Brooke, has allowed him to put love before duty. The timeless bridge formula is always up to date. Ridge and Brooke are the super couple of daytime TV, let's face it. Despite numerous marriages to other people, family conflicts, business crises, and more dramatic plot twists than you can imagine, their love story has endured. After decades of watching The Bold and the Beautiful, we've come to realize that Ridge and Brooke always end up back together. And truthfully, Catherine Kelly Lang and Torsten Kay's chemistry is still really intense. We are reminded of why Bridge fans have remained so devoted throughout the years by every scene they share. Taylor's and the Forrester family's implications. I do have sympathy for Taylor Hayes, so I'm not entirely callous. Particularly when it comes to her broken heart syndrome plot, Rebecca Budig has been giving some incredible performances. To put it bluntly, though, her connection with Ridge has been more like a cozy acquaintance than a romantic one. How Steffi and Thomas will react to their parents perhaps divorcing once more is the true question. You'd think these kids would require treatment after all the times they've experienced this emotional roller coaster. Well, additional therapy. Fan reactions are incredibly crazy. Since the airing of this episode, social media has been a flurry of activity. While Taylor fans are doing all in their power to defend their daughter, Bridge fans are essentially running victory laps. Their bond is unbreakable, one fan wrote in a tweet. Brooke will return because he knows where his heart is. Ridge needs to stop hurting people and stick with his commitments for once, another person retorted. I think Bridge may have a very happy Christmas. I wouldn't be shocked if Ridge and Brooke reunited by Christmas 2025, based on what I've heard and seen. Ridge believes as though Katie's counsel is the final straw that forces him to make the decision his heart has been pleading with him to make all along. Will Ridge heed Katie's advice and return to Brooke? Or will he remain bound to Taylor by duty and familial pressure? There is no doubt that the upcoming weeks will be extremely combustible, and I will be closely monitoring every moment of it. As Brooke lashes out at Taylor's vicious accusations, Hope Logan is caught in the crossfire. As ancient scars flare up, Hope Logan becomes ammo in Brooke and Taylor's violent feud. While Brooke retaliates with fierce maternal protection, Taylor challenges Hope's reformed act. Will Hope make it through this terrible crossfire? Hope Logan weaponized as the explosive mother war Taylor and Brooke reach nuclear levels. Hope Logan has been formally thrust into the middle of the decades-long conflict between Brooke Logan and Taylor Hayes, just when you thought it could get any messier. It's getting brutal out here, I tell ya. Given Liam Spencer's tragic brain tumor diagnosis, Hope's return to Forrester Creations may have appeared to be a kind gesture from Steffi Forrester, but it has unleashed a whole hell between these warring mothers. Instead of being a time for family harmony, it has turned into the ultimate battleground. Brooke becomes a complete mama bear. When it comes to protecting her daughter, Brooke is not fooling around. To be honest, the woman is in full protective mode. I'm up for it. She makes the case that Hope has truly grown up and is now accepting responsibility for her previous transgressions. Hope reassures Carter Walton about their relationship and her resolve to move on in recent episodes. For Brooke, this is evidence of her daughter's development. She is frantically attempting to persuade everyone, especially Taylor, that this time is different by citing every single instance of Hope's purported metamorphosis. The problem is that Brooke's defense seems nearly frenzied. As if she is aware that Hope's foundation is unstable and is doing everything in her power to prevent her daughter from slipping through the gaps once more. Taylor refuses to believe in the reformed Hope Act. Taylor is providing the recipes in the meanwhile. She wonders how long it will be until Hope plans another corporate takeover or pursues another taken guy. And truthfully? The woman is right. Fans are still split over Taylor's notorious Finn kiss, which she is throwing back in Hope's face. That instance in which Hope went too far with Steffi's husband? Indeed, Taylor has not forgotten, and she is ensuring that no one else does. Then there is the intrigue surrounding Carter's business takeover, which almost brought down Forrester Creations. Taylor believes that Hope's reappearance is a recurrence of the past, particularly given how conveniently everything happened. Because of Liam's unfortunate circumstances, Hope is greeted with wide arms after causing turmoil and losing her job one moment. The fallout from the fashion show feeds the flames. The tension surrounding the recent fashion show serves as the setting for this entire heated confrontation. Hope is only fueling an already blazing fire between Brooke and Taylor, who have been at odds for weeks. In essence, Taylor is claiming that Brooke made a desperate and highly visible move by pursuing Ridge when he was allegedly engaged to someone else. Taylor isn't having any of it as she watches Brooke perform the same protective dance for Hope. Let's face it, neither of these women has ever appreciated the other's connection with Ridge. The phrase "respect my relationship" is being used like confetti at a wedding. they are now applying the same vigor to their daughter's circumstances. History is being repeated. I've been watching this show for years, and I'm getting tired of this routine. How often has Hope wreaked havoc at Forrester only to return as if nothing has happened? It resembles a greatest hits record of soap opera scandals, complete with inappropriate kisses, business betrayals, and family strife. Taylor notices. It is seen by the fans. In fact, some of Hope's supporters are beginning to wonder if this reformed act is sincere or merely another sort of manipulation masquerading as accountability. However, Brooke? She is putting a lot of effort into protecting her kid, and any hope of harmony between these families may be destroyed by her intense maternal protection. The actual victims of this conflict. Can we discuss how Hope and Steffi are being caught in the middle of their mother's long-standing rivalry? Because of Liam's condition, Steffi made the selfless choice to bring Hope back, and now her mother is using it as a weapon against Brooke. Hope is attempting to start over and show that she has changed, but her mother's conflict with Taylor is watching her every action. Seeing these moms use their daughters as ammo in their decades-long struggle is incredibly distressing. What will happen to this family conflict next? This mother war is only beginning, as teasers suggest that Brooke and Taylor will continue to clash. Both sides will examine, critique, and use Hope's every action as a weapon. Will things worsen as a result of Brooke's vehement defense of Hope? Can Hope demonstrate real progress and disprove Taylor? Or is Taylor correct to question Hope's real reasons for going back to Forrester? Hope is stranded in the center of the blast zone, so there's no doubt that this dramatic family drama is far from ended. Will she survive being used as a weapon in her mother's struggle, or will this be the scandal that permanently ruins the Logan legacy at Forrester Creations? This time, Ridge Forrester finds himself once more staring into the emotional abyss when it comes to the perpetual mystery that is Brooke Logan. The sun-soaked cliffs of Italy have long served as a backdrop for romance, treachery, and heartache on the bold and the beautiful. According to previews, Ridge's vacation to Italy is becoming into much more than a romantic business trip. It's becoming a voyage of the heart, full of unresolved desire, old wounds, and the heartbreaking realization that Brooke may perhaps be eternally out of reach. Although Ridge is no stranger to suffering when it comes to Brooke, this most recent episode could be his downfall after years of a love that was entangled in lies, misunderstandings, and betrayals on both sides. The promise of regeneration is where it all started. Ridge, ever the devoted leader, was more than delighted to take the lead when Forrester Creations planned to introduce a new line in Europe. He didn't anticipate, though, how this picturesque getaway would make him confront the harsh reality that, in spite of all his promises, cosmetic procedures, and second chances, the woman he has loved for decades might not be waiting for him anymore. After overcoming her own identity and self-worth issues, Brooke appears to have finally had enough of Ridge's frequent indecisiveness and emotional back and forth between her and Taylor Hayes. Supporters have long argued over whether Ridge is just misinterpreted or if Brooke deserves more, but in Italy, the argument takes a sharp turn. According to spoilers, Brooke, who appears glowing and content, spends a moment with an unexpected visitor, possibly the person who attracted her interest while Ridge was away. It's unclear if it's a new suitor or an old flame, but Ridge, who observes the exchange from a distance, is deeply shaken. As he recalls his previous transgressions and the innumerable occasions he took Brooke's love for granted, he starts to lose his emotional equilibrium. When he confronts Brooke and discovers that she is unexpectedly calm and determined, the heartbreak hits him more. She informs Ridge that she's sick of waiting and sick of being the backup plan in case his life with Taylor falls apart, without yelling or crying. Ridge lacks a retort for the first time in years. In real time, the weight of his previous choices crushes him as his voice hitches in his throat. In another scene, Ridge's Italian sadness begins to affect Taylor, who remained in Los Angeles. She has started to move on, relying on her family's support and finding comfort in her profession, even though spoilers suggest she still harbors feelings for Ridge. However, Ridge might be pulled back into a plot she vowed she was done repeating because of her mental agony in Italy. In the meantime, Brooke's determination is put to the test when she is presented with a new opportunity, possibly in the form of love or business, but undoubtedly in a path Ridge cannot, at least not right away. Has the window on Brooke and Ridge's amazing love story finally closed for good? That is the obvious question that looms large in the Italian air. Though he doesn't believe it, Ridge is beginning to see that love might not be sufficient on its own any longer. Not after years of emotional betrayal, dishonesty, and persistent indecision. Although the chances are minimal, spoilers indicate that Ridge will make a spectacular gesture in a final effort to win Brooke back before leaving for LA. Now that her eyes are open, Brooke's heart, despite its bruises, may be guiding her toward a different type of future, one that isn't characterized by the cycle of love with Ridge. Longtime viewers of The Bold and the Beautiful are preparing for a dramatic change as this plot develops. Would Ridge ever experience what it's like to be completely abandoned? Is Brooke's heart going to warm up, or has the Italian sunshine confirmed what she's always suspected, that she no longer needs Ridge to be complete? Whatever happens, one thing is for sure, Italy might be the destination where Brooke's independence is most evident and where Ridge's most tragic lesson is ultimately learnt. Even by her dramatic standards, Brooke Logan has never stayed down for long, but the events of this particularly heated day on The Bold and the Beautiful take everyone by surprise, especially her. One of the most surprising and pivotal days of her recent plot swiftly emerges from what starts as a pout-filled descent into yet another phase of emotional unhappiness. Brooke is emotionally spent and prepared to give up on love after spending a large portion of the morning wallowing in remorse, loneliness, and the hurt of witnessing Ridge waver between her and Taylor once more. As she considers what seems like a lifetime of suffering and repetition, her famous mansion, typically a center of fashion and family conversation, becomes more like a prison of memories. However, fate and the erratic B&B cosmos throw Brooke a curveball of emotions that rattles her to her very core just as she accepts a one-person pity party. When an unexpected guest shows up at her door, it's the first surprise of the day. Not Hope, not Donna, not Ridge, not Taylor. It's Deacon Sharp, a man who still has a strong fondness for Brooke despite doing his hardest in recent months to hide his affections for her. He shows up with a calm sincerity, bringing coffee and some words of encouragement instead of making big announcements. Although surprised by the visit, Brooke is grateful for the gesture. She starts to sense something stirring beneath the sadness during this fleeting act of goodwill. She wants to not only move on from Ridge but also rediscover herself. However, the change isn't just a result of Deacon's statements. The true turning point occurs when she gets a call from Katie, who tells her that Ridge is clearly rattled and questioning his decisions while on a business trip in Italy. "You've got to stop letting Ridge's indecision control your story," Katie, who is always the voice of reason, advises Brooke bluntly. Brooke remembers that counsel like a thunderclap. A click occurs. She no longer wants to be a lady waiting for a man who is unsure of himself. The pouting abruptly stops. Brooke determines it's time to regain command. After taking a shower and changing into one of her iconic power outfits, she immediately goes to Forrester Creations, where her altered appearance astounds everyone. She enters the office like a lady on a mission, poised, confident, and full of self-assurance. The name Ridge is hardly mentioned. Steffi and even Carter, who both assumed Hope would be emotionally incapable, are shocked when Brooke takes over a campaign that has been stagnating and suggests a daring new course. However, Brooke's professional genius shines through the emotional haze, and she is all business. Later in the day, she makes a video chat to Ridge, who is still in Italy and appears thoughtful and torn. In an attempt to determine her emotional condition, he looks for indications that she is anticipating his arrival. Ridge is left speechless when Brooke, cool and collected, merely wishes him well and signs off. You can feel the change in power. The office is buzzing over Brooke's transformation, and even Hope begins to wonder if she has underestimated her mother's emotional resilience. It's not the end of the drama. Fans believe the surprises are over when Brooke gets a mystery envelope from an international courier in the episode's last moments. When she opens it, she discovers a note from a former romantic partner, someone we haven't seen on canvas in a while, with the mysterious words, "It's not too late for us." Who is this from? Is Nick Morone there? Thorne? Or someone completely different? One thing is certain, though, Brooke Logan is no longer pouting. The letter turns into the cliffhanger that will drive the upcoming week. The new chapter she is writing may be the most unpredictable one yet, and she is surprising everyone, even herself. The woman who waited for Ridge to select her is no longer there. Someone brave, attractive, and fully responsible for her own fate has taken her place. Fans are in for an exciting and emotionally fulfilling journey if this is the Brooke that the writers are reviving.